Real Screeners here at the Alamo Drafthouse, and with us today we have the X-Men who really matter. We have Wolverine, Mystique, and of course Jean Grey herself, the Dark Phoenix.
And we're here today to get audiences' reactions to Dark Phoenix, the final installment in the X-Men prequels. We're here with Mike and Wendy, who just got out of enjoying Dark Phoenix, or at least I hope they enjoyed it, but let's find out. What was your overall impression of Dark Phoenix, Mike?
Oh, I absolutely hated it.
Did you?
Yeah, I think it's the worst X-Men movie ever.
Even worse than X-Men Apocalypse?
Yeah, way worse.
Way worse?
Way too many plot gaps here.
Okay.
You know, I don't know how Mystique dies off in 1992, but shows up in 6 more movies.
Oh no, spoiler alert. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. No problem. That's fine. And what about you, Wendy? What was your impression?
I thought the first Phoenix movie was bad, and they said that they were gonna make this one better, and it looked like it was equally as bad as the first Phoenix movie. I guess they just can't get that right.
Yeah, it's a complicated story to bring to the screen. You know, do you guys consider yourself fans of the comics or just the movies?
The movies. I've been going. I started dating my daughter since the very first movie came out. We've been fans their whole lives. And
Very cool. Very cool. Who's your favorite X-Men superhero?
oh, I'm totally a Wolverine fan.
What about you?
I really like X-23 and probably Rogue. Those are like my 2 favorite.
Rogue. Awesome. Okay. Would you guys consider yourselves Game of Thrones fans?
I am. I do watch. I've watched that too.
Okay. So what did you think of Sophie Turner as Jean Grey as the Phoenix?
A little weak there. I mean, she was like watching a mannequin walk around.
What did you think?
She's a little stiff, yeah. Just a little stiff. I've never seen Game of Thrones, but I thought she was a little bit stiff in this movie. The last movie she was okay, but this movie she was just real stiff.
Yeah, she has about the same level of skills as Kristen Stewart. They're both horrible actors.
From Twilight fame. Okay, all right. So, okay, all right. So so overall, not too good, huh? Not recommended. So on our YouTube channel, we rate our films using movie reels, and we call ourselves the Reel Screeners. So 5 reels would be the highest rating. 1 reel is the lowest. So out of 5 reels, how many reels would you give Dark Phoenix?
I maybe give it 2.
Okay, and that's being nice.
I'm being generous. If you see it at the matinee, good, but don't pay full price.
What about you?
I'm going with 1. They didn't even start with the whole mutation entry like they always do in every movie, so I'm going with a 1.
Okay, well, we have some disappointed customers here, but hey, that's the way it goes sometimes. Well, thank you very much for sharing your opinion tonight, and you guys have a good evening, okay? Thank you. Here today we have Joy, who just finished watching the movie. And so Joy, what are your initial thoughts about Dark Phoenix? Overall impressions?
I loved it. It was action-packed. It had a great storyline, and I enjoyed every minute of it.
Okay, so compared to some of the other X-Men films, how would you rank this one, or how would you compare it to some of the other ones?
I really like this one because the whole premise is there's always hope. And that's what we need in the world. We always need hope, you know?
Excellent.
Especially in this day and time and everything that's going on in the U.S., there's always hope, no matter what your past.
Very good, very good. That's a very, very good insight. What about Sophie Turner? You know, she's there's been a lot of talk about her since she's on Game of Thrones. What did you think of Sophie Turner's take on Jean Grey and the Phoenix in this film?
I loved it. She was intense, but she had a soft side. She showed her humanity, and that's what we're all after, especially in acting. You know, show us your humanity, show us realistic picture of what we're all up against and how we can overcome it.
Very cool. Okay, and if you had to pick a standout scene in the film without giving too much away, okay, what would you say was your favorite scene in the film?
Well, without giving too much away, there's a flashback, and Jean is thinking about everything that's happened in her life, but she sees Xavier, and he says, as long as someone believes in you, there's always hope.
Excellent.
That's it.
That's probably like sums up like one of the greatest lessons in the film, right?
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so on our YouTube channel, we rate our films using movie reels. 5 reels being the highest rating, 1 reel being the lowest rating. So out of 5 reels, how many reels would you give this film?
Oh, that's tough. I would give it 4 reels, just because I loved the storyline. You can't negate that we all need hope. She's an underdog, rough life, yet I won't give it away, but it's good.
That's good.
It's good.
Worth a watch.
It's worth a watch.
Recommend it.
I highly recommend 5 reels. 4 reels, 5 reels. Yeah.
All right. Well, really appreciate your, your comments, and thank you for being on the show.
This time around, we have Javier. Javier, this movie has had a lot of mixed reviews. What are your general thoughts on this movie? Were you impressed or were you highly disappointed?
Well, I came into the movie without having high expectations. Because it's not an MCU movie, but it's still a Marvel movie, and I thought it was good. I didn't think it was the worst movie. I did enjoy it, and this is actually my second time watching it.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking about that it's kind of like, well, middle of the road type of X-Men movie. What did you think about maybe some of the acting? A lot of people say that the plot kind of let them down, but the acting was okay. What did you think about that?
I really did enjoy the acting, especially in Sophie Turner and Michael Fassbender's part, especially their hand movements and how it was all smooth and everything, including that it was all CGI. So they didn't really know what they were doing, but it was very good.
Yeah, what about the special effects in this movie?
Special effects, I really did enjoy them.
Was there anything, without giving too much away, was there anything in this movie you were kind of hoping for and didn't quite get?
Well, kind of like in X3, kind of the Phoenix. It wasn't really the comic book story, and I would have liked to seen it be more faithful to the comics.
If you were to compare this, maybe in the whole scheme of things, to some of the other X movies, how would this compare?
I would label this not one of my top X movies, but definitely in like the top 5. Not the number 1 spot, but in the top 5. I did enjoy it. It's a good send-off for the X-Men.
Okay, so better than X3 The Last Stand or worse?
I think it was better. Yeah.
All right. So on our channel, The Real Screeners, this is the last question for you. We rate movies on a scale of 1 to 5 movie reels. So how many movie reels would you give The Dark Phoenix?
I would give it 3.5.
All right. Okay, well, you know what, Javier, thank you so much for being on our channel. Hopefully we'll see you again at the Alamo Drafthouse, okay?
Thank you.
So Penny, talk to us about the previous review you did for us, the reaction you did for us.
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. Now, everyone loves the MCU, especially with Endgame. How would you say this movie, Dark Phoenix, compares to maybe like an MCU movie? Because obviously this was a Fox movie.
Towards the ending, I feel like it was kind of the same in a way on like what Jean did. But yeah, that's really it.
Okay. So what did you think about Jean Grey and Sophie Turner's portrayal of her? Are you familiar with Sophie Turner? Do you know that she was on Game of Thrones? No. No? Okay. So just in general, what did you think of her acting? Because a lot of people had high expectations for her.
I think her acting was pretty good. I liked it. I think she played the part pretty good. I like the way she did her emotions on it.
Right. She had a lot of gravitas. Like she really channeled that Phoenix Force, right? Like with her hand gestures and all that. Okay. So what else did you like about the movie?
I liked how it kind of had like a dark ending. I liked how it wasn't like so picture perfect in a way.
Right. Because that's not reality, right?
Yeah, it's not real. So I liked that, and I liked how they kind of showed how they kind of recovered from it in a way and what they did differently.
So in a way, there's a little bit of redemption without giving too much away. Would you say that?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. Now, how about some things you didn't like about this movie?
I would spoil it if I'd say it.
Oh, okay. Can you just give us a vague generalization, kind of?
The deaths?
The deaths. Okay. Yeah. Some of them were. There was a death that was pretty abrupt, right?
It really was.
All right. So you've been on this channel before, giving a reaction. So you know that on our channel we go 1 to 5 as far as a rating. So how many movie reels would you give The Dark Phoenix?
A 5. I really liked it. It was more than I expected.
Glad you enjoyed the movie, and you know what, Penny? Glad to see you again with the Real Screeners. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
The Real Screeners are back at the Alamo Drafthouse, and we have Lisa, who just got out of Dark Phoenix. And Lisa, your overall impression for Dark Phoenix?
X-Men is one of my favorite comics. I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was a lot of fun, especially the last 30 minutes.
Okay, yes.
No spoilers, I promise.
No spoilers, yes, but some great action sequences.
Very good action sequences. And if you follow the comics, if you know the Saturday morning cartoon, it was a lot of fun to see some of those parallels.
Okay, all right. So you are obviously a fan of the comics. Were you perhaps disappointed in not seeing some of the things in the comic books in the film?
Yeah, I think that was one thing that my whole family missed over there, and I'm sure you'll hear from my son that he missed a lot of those elements. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What is your opinion of Sophie Turner in this film as Jean Grey?
I love her. I think she's a great actress. I think the thing that I missed was the conflict between the Dark Phoenix and Jean Grey, and in the comic books and in the cartoons, it's much more explored, much more. And so this one, you don't
psychology.
You don't see a lot of it. She's just like, oh, okay, it's all cool. But I thought she did a phenomenal job.
Awesome.
Very understated.
Okay. Compared to the other X-Men films, where would you rank this one, perhaps?
Not the lowest, but not the highest. This is going to be somewhere in the middle there.
Compared to like Days of Future Past,
Future Past has to be number 1, and then
how about Apocalypse?
Apocalypse is probably the lowest.
So
yeah, this is somewhere above. I think it's Days of Future Past, and then the one that was after that was Apocalypse, and then you go back to the X-Men First Class.
I agree with that. I agree. Okay, so on our YouTube channel, we rate our films using movie reels. That's what we're called, the Reel Screeners.
Okay.
So 5 reels is the highest rating, 1 reel is the lowest. How many reels would you give Dark Phoenix?
3 3/4. It's not quite a 4, but it's more than 3.5.
Very good. Okay. Well, thank you for your opinion today.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for being on the show. We're here at the Alamo Drafthouse, and Ryan just got out of Dark Phoenix. And just what is your overall reaction, your overall impression of this movie?
I thought it was a good take on the Dark Phoenix saga. I thought it was a great way to finish out the, I guess, the 4th movie of the
prequel X-Men films, if you will.
Yeah. Got to see some different characters too.
Okay.
Yeah.
In comparison to the previous prequels like Apocalypse and what is it, Days of Future Past, and how would you rank this one? How does it compare to the other ones?
I think I like the second one the best, where
the time travel.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's what I really like that one
Days
a lot.
Of Future Past. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Would you consider yourself a Game of Thrones fan?
No, I don't. I'm not a Game of Thrones fan. I'm definitely an X-Men fan, and here for X-Men, and not for
X-Men, and not because of Sophie Turner. Not because of Sophie Turner. Well, that being said, though, what did you think of her performance as Jean Grey or as the Phoenix?
I thought she did really well. Understated in a lot of ways, but like she, I don't know. I really like Famke Janssen too, and her version of Jean Grey.
Original X-Men, yeah.
But I think overall, this story of the Phoenix was better than the Last Stand. The Last Stand, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're a fan of the comic books? Would you say of the X-Men or?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't read a lot of the comics. I'm more of a fan of from when the '90s cartoon was on. So yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, same here. Yeah. I love those. So on our YouTube channel, we rate our movies using movie reels, and we call ourselves the Reel Screeners.
Okay.
So 5 reels is the highest rating, 1 reel is the lowest.
Okay.
So out of 5 reels, how many would you give to Dark Phoenix?
Can we use halves?
You can, absolutely.
All right. Then I would go with 4.5.
Oh, pretty up there.
I liked it.
Okay, very cool. All right, well, thank you very much for sharing your opinion.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next up with the real screeners, we have Phoebe. Phoebe, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Yeah.
So, Dark Phoenix, a lot of people had mixed reactions because this is a franchise that people were nervous about because they've had some hits and they've had some terrible movies. So, just generally, what did you think about this movie?
Well, it was really pretty. That's one of the things I'd really like to look at. It was just the graphics and how they were designed and everything.
What did you think of maybe the plot? Some people thought it was a little rushed. Did you feel that way, or what did you think?
A little bit. It kind of reminded me, this is a bit stupid, but it reminded me of like the later Twilight movies where it's very intense and just kind of a little bit stupid.
What about the acting? A lot of people, get behind Sophie Turner because she was from Game of Thrones. I don't know if you watched that, but your thoughts on the acting?
The acting was good. I really enjoyed it. It was pretty nice. No hard feelings about it. So.
Okay. All right. And have you seen any other X-Men movies before?
I have, but I probably couldn't name them.
Okay. Would you say this is maybe better or worse than some of the other ones you've seen?
It's not better than some of them, but it's definitely not the worst I've seen.
Okay. So it's kind of middle of the road, right? So on our show, The Real Screeners, okay, we rate our movies on a scale of 1 to 5 movie reels. Okay. Just throw a number out there. How many? You can even do half reels. How many movie reels would you give this?
I would lean it towards more of the 5, around 4.
Okay. Maybe 4.5, maybe?
Possibly, yeah. There's some things that were about it that just won't make it a complete 4 or 5.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Phoebe, for being on our show. Hopefully we'll see you again at the Alamo Drafthouse.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.